Once we got a couple of years, 3 years data, 4 years data, we were able to identify trends, ups and downs. Part of it, identifying the teams that have been successful in meeting the protocols, the criteria versus those that weren't. A little bit of public humiliation goes a long way. So the teams that were having zero compliance, year 2, year 3 particularly, started getting up there and became some of our most successful users. One quick story that is just recent. So this would have been our 5th year of data that we were able to utilize. Last year at the Prairie Football Conference annual general meeting, we had identified there was one team that led the league, led the nation actually in concussions, and by a significant number, some years almost double. Their number remained consistent from year to year, 14, 15, 16. So at the end of our meeting or presentation last year, I was able to sit down with the president, the team manager, and one of the executive members and have that data present and say, we've talked about this. The first year we kind of thought it was over-reporting on perhaps of the athletic therapists. The next year we kind of masked it a little bit by saying, well, they're just doing a really good job and all the other teams aren't doing a good job. That's why theirs are higher. But then by year 3, as the other teams were, getting better at entering their information, and this team had that same consistent, then there's something there. So by year 4, it was time to sit down and say, hey, we need to identify something to break down on the reports that we get talked about position athletes, whether they're getting hurt in practice, whether they're getting hurt in games. The thing that was consistent was the amount of concussions that were occurring in practice and at a position, defensive line. So through that conversation, so I talked to them and just, essentially said, you got to have the conversation and you got to have it with your coaches because we can't ignore this any longer. And they did. Yeah. A year later, they cut the concussions in half. They had identified that the D-line coach was utilizing a drill that had been around for a long time, was more of a see how tough you are type of drill versus any practical game skill development. And they stopped using it. And the coach, I never even thought about it. Yeah, I got no problem changing that drill. So they stopped using it. And this year, coincidentally, their concussions dropped by half. So,
wow.
Yeah. So from that perspective and the money that everybody was scared to spend about 5 years ago, nobody even looks at anymore. It's not even questioned.